Hello there. Much of January, of course, was quite dry with high pressure dominating. We actually saw the soil moisture drying out quite a bit across southern and eastern parts of England. This is a look at some of the Cosmos data around the UK, and what you can see on here since October essentially is much of the time the soil moisture stayed in this normal category, the green colours there. And yeah, there's a lot of oscillation here as each sort of wet and dry spell comes and goes, but in general, soil moisture was near normal for the time of the year. But this big drop off around the latter part of January as high pressure built in. We didn't get any rain really for quite a number of days. So really drying out those soils into the exceptionally dry category for the time of year. Of course, this would still be pretty wet if this was summer conditions, for example. And then they've returned back to nearer normal values in the last few days as we've seen more in the way of wet and windy weather coming in from the Atlantic. So a short-lived drying out of the topsoils by the looks of things. Now the detail for Wednesday this week, well, we've got this weak cold front straddling central parts of the UK, still with that very mild air to the southeast, which we had in place on Tuesday. A little bit breezy here, but actually stronger winds further north, and this may look quite scary, but it's actually just a fair number of wintry showers coming into Scotland on that brisk westerly wind. So a couple of things to point out as we go through Wednesday night into Thursday. A wave running along this front might just pep the rain up across southern England, and this small low also tracking close to northern Scotland could give us some stronger winds as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that in detail in just a moment, but high pressure will build in behind all of those features by the time we get through to Friday. In cold air, we'll have had cold northwesterly winds coming in behind that area of low pressure, and then the high building in, settling things down, but in rather chilly air as a result, and still at this stage some showers into the northwest on Friday as well. So this is a closer look at things on Thursday morning. Our cold front down here to the south. Now this could be a bit further north, so maybe a wet start across southern England. There is some uncertainty about how active this wave on that front, how far north it may come, so something to keep an eye on first thing Thursday morning, but that will pull away. And then that second feature, this small low, now this is a different model to the one I just showed you, and that low itself is further south, affecting more of Scotland really, with some fairly tight winds wrapping around that area of low pressure, and as you can see, areas of rain, sleet and snow mixed in with that as well, and wintry showers then following in behind into northern and western parts as we go through the day on Thursday as well. But the wind may be a bigger talking point. It'll be quite a brisk westerly wind across northern Scotland on Wednesday, and then gradually shifting to the northwest on Thursday. But you can see the wind gusts we're expecting in the 24 hours here that end at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. And for much of northern and western Scotland, it's in the 50, 60, 70 mile an hour category. So not as strong as we have seen with recent storms, but certainly still strong enough to cause some issues in parts of the north and west of the UK. Lighter winds further south, of course. And then with that high pressure building in and that cold air mass in place, it could actually be quite a cold start on Friday morning, and indeed Saturday morning, potentially in the far southeast as well. So just depending on how much cloud, how strong the breeze is, if there's any showers left behind, these are the sorts of values we could see in the countryside on Friday morning, not necessarily in the towns and cities, but scope for -3, -4, fairly widespread frost for most parts of the UK on Friday morning. And again, we could see a repeat on Saturday morning, but mostly confined down towards the southeast where you keep those clear skies because we will see more wind and rain coming in from the northwest by that stage. And you can see that on here. So Friday, there's our area of high pressure, but that is going to retreat. And then wet and windy weather coming in Friday night. So still quiet in the southeast early Saturday, but this band of rain gradually working its way southeastwards. But at this stage, it still looks like the far southeast will stay dry during Saturday, breezy and mild, whereas it turns wet and windy elsewhere through the beginning of the weekend. And then this wave on the front here could run up along the front and pep that rain up as we go through Saturday night into Sunday across southern and eastern parts of the UK. So I think we'll all see some rain at some stage during the weekend. It comes in earliest in the north and west, but it will eventually get down towards the southeast Saturday night and come Sunday as well. And that does set us up with a much more sort of unsettled look to things for next week. This is just a generalized look at how things will likely be for much of next week, with high pressure often near the Azores, which is where it normally is, the Azores high, and low pressure often near Iceland, the Icelandic low. So actually this is very much a positive NAO look to the pattern, with these westerly winds coming in off the Atlantic, driving areas of low pressure in, which will bring us spells of wet and windy weather, potentially some stormy conditions at times, but interspersed with something brighter and more showery as well. So on the leading edge of each low, we'll get a blast of mild air just for a brief time. and temperatures into the teens. And then as the low and the wind and rain moves through, cold and northwesterly winds will follow behind, with wintry showers in the northwest of the UK, but something a bit drier towards the southeast, and then the next low will come through. So very much a changeable pattern next week, with a sequence of low pressure systems coming in with some wet and windy weather. Certainly more unsettled than it has been really over the past few weeks or so. So this is having a look at some of the air mass really for next week. It sort of flags up that oscillation in temperature. You can see that blast of cold air we're going to get later this week, coming in from the north for a couple of days with those sharper frosts overnight. Then something a little bit milder briefly on the beginning of the weekend, ahead of the next low coming in off the Atlantic. And then as that low comes through, it comes back down, and this oscillation up and down throughout this sequence, really just highlighting those tracks of the lows coming in and the changes of air mass as each low comes in as well. Quite noisy, but there is a signal here, I think, through the middle part of next week that we could actually see some pretty mild conditions returning, and there is a small chance we may see temperatures up to 14, 15 degrees again, maybe for a day or two around the middle of next week, before somewhat of a reduction again later in the week. But if you average it all out, it's near or slightly above average, but you can see no sign of any significant prolonged cold weather, unlike what we had at this time last year, of course, where we had pretty strong easterly winds bringing in plenty of snow showers. No sign of that at this stage. So quite a bit of detail to iron out next week, I guess, with the timings of fronts coming in and where the showers may crop up. And as ever, we're looking at all this information here at Weatherquest, and you can call our friendly bunch of forecasters. We're available every day, throughout every day, including the weekends as well, 6 in the morning through till 5:30 in the afternoon. Just give us a ring and we'll hopefully give you a little bit more information about when the showers may come through and when the rain may arrive, and when there may be a little bit of frost in between each area of low pressure. Now, as we go through the latter parts of February, then we've got high pressure down towards the south, so still in very much a similar position. If anything, it might shift a little bit further north, so the frontal activity may shift a bit further north with it as well. So perhaps something a little bit drier in the south, but I still think even at this stage, some rain will get down into the south, but nowhere near as much as we're going to see further north and west. It's still very much a mobile westerly pattern off the Atlantic. So above average rainfall in the northwest, drier than average down towards the southeast, and particularly dry across the south and southwest of Europe during this time frame. And then as we go through the very end of February into early March, you'll see that this drier pattern shifts a bit further north into the UK. Still above average in the northwest though, but drier than average down towards the south and east. And you'll notice also that the redder colours here are more expansive as we go through the last part of February into early March, and that just sort of suggests that high pressure might build further north again, even more actually, as we change the month. So settling down more perhaps across the southern half of the UK as we head into the beginning of March. It's obviously a long way off at this stage, but it's been a sign for a while actually that things could settle down once again towards the end of the month in the south, but still fairly unsettled in the far northwest. So often a northwest-southeast split throughout this next 4 weeks really, with rain or showers most frequent in the northwest, drier in the southeast, but still some rain here, particularly next week when it will turn more unsettled for all of us, but high pressure possibly rebuilding as we head towards late February into early March. And so things might settle down a bit, turn a bit more spring-like, I guess, as we head into meteorological spring. We'll update you on that over the next few weeks, but you can keep up to date with the day-by-day forecast as ever by following us on social media. Bye for now.